oh, this local government, all of you do this. That's why you go to all these states, including Southwest here. Most of them, if not all, are doing exactly all things the governor or the governor's wife, who have become the assistant governors now, in the state, tell them to do.
Wouldn't that be creating a third tier of government? Because if they were to be autonomous the way you described it, would they listen to the governors anymore?
Look, the third tier, as if the governors want to be serious, want to be real, or they want to love development, they should be the first to fight for local government as a third tier of government. Why is that? You want to be the house. You need a strong foundation. You need it. Local government is the foundation of government in Nigeria. So if they are not strong, you can never have a state. In fact, state is artificial. State is diffuse.
Mr. Soetan, do you see the problem here? I mean, we're looking at the constitution that provides that state house of assembly can create local governments.
Yep.
We're looking at a situation where all local governments now are entitled to get their funds directly from the federal government. So that a state can create 25 local governments, or 30, or 100 if it desires. Will all of them get the same amount of money from the federal government? How is the federal government going to calculate that? What we understand now is that the Constitution provides for 775 local governments, and that's basically what they're going to be recognizing. Do you see a problem there?
In the first instance, I am not a supporter of this idea that the more local government you create, the more the development. It's a ruse. During during Obanjo's time in Ogun State and the Bolagi, whatever, even Jakonde here, we didn't have as many local governments as we have. Yet we had better development because people are sincere. People are not as corrupt as the current politicians. So it's not a question of you create as many local government that you are going to get development. But as far as that is concerned, I also feel that is the right of people to demand for local government. And if they demand, not politicians, say, okay, for maybe pecuniary interest, okay, let's have as many local government as possible. If people decide to have local government, I think the thing is about 150,000 people minimum. If they think they want local government, they can, right?
But it's the same problem that, a host of people were talking about the states. I mean, the creation of more states. Yeah. A host of people said it was so that, some people can just wake up and go to Abuja and take money and go back to the estate, and only the development you might see will just be around the capital alone. Do you see that problem also being created at a local government level?
It's not going to be. The state creation or what have you is just an elitist thing now. I'll give you an instance.
It's the same thing about...
No, it's not.
It's not the same thing about local government.
It won't be. You know why? Local government, at least 78.5% of local government are rural-based. And they are not interested in who becomes the governor. What they are interested is their development. And that's why you have the so-called urban local governments now. Instead of using their money. And that's another problem.
Which one is that? Urban local government?
Yeah, the so-called urban local government, elite, Lagos, capital, Abeokuta capital, what have you. What they do is wrong. You see local government chairmen placing adverts. Full page adverts, 600,000 for governor's wife, for governor's mother, and what have you. And a page of advert placed is the cost of a borehole or sunk. A page of advert placed can give you 60,000 exercise books.
Are they really functional? Because, time and game, we've had sometimes Lagos Public Works come here. That's an agency of government. We've seen what the ministries are doing. But if you go around different states, you would hardly have a feel of what some of the local governments are doing. That's the argument some people are bringing forth. So, going around with your own organization, have you seen what some local governments have actually done for the people?
Well, some have tried. Some. Very limited. But the reality is that they are made not to function by the government. They are made not to function. By the governors. And I'll give you an instance. Look at the Constitution. Even the minimal responsibilities and where they can get income, billboards, tenement rates, markets, have been taken over by governors. Taken over to the consultants. When we were young, immunizations were done by local governments. We have public taps by local government, tenant rates by local government. So we have at least some developments in different villages and towns. But today, what you have is that government has assumed that they have extended mandate, to capture the local governments and the local government chairman and the councillors.
Isn't that also partly because of the quality of the people who headed those local governments?
But they are creation of governors now. They are created by governors.
Do you see a problem here?
Not by the people, so
No, that's why you are not. I'll give you an example. In the southwest area, we have local governments that are still caretaker. And some governors are saying that, look, they don't believe that local government should be a tier of government and that they cannot be elected, which to me is very dangerous. What they do now is just to appoint. So how do you appoint? How will a governor in Ogun State appoint a councillor for Waterside when farmers there can know that, oh, Wasiu can be our councillor? So when you appoint all these people, they are loyal to the governor. They are not interested, and they look at the body language of the governor and his wives. What they do now, most of them, is they have the calendar of, not calendar of what you want to do, but calendar of date of birth, date of death, date of marriage, of governor's wife, governor's, and place adverts.
To do what?
To place adverts and to do merry.
Oh, congratulatory message.
Exactly. So it's not that, and again they have list. Our is coming now. Our is coming. List of party chairmen that are going to give Tolotolo and what have you. So that is what the problem is. Devolution of power. When you talk of autonomy for people to know, look, how much is given to this local government? We want to know. Budgeting. People want to. The law should be created that way. Budgeting.
Why do they do that? Is it to sustain or to keep them in office? Because we thought that they were actually, for those that have actually conducted elections, a state like Lagos, they were elected by the people. So, do you owe anyone anything like such freebies?
Let me tell you, they are elected by the people, but who created them before they were elected? Go to all these parties. If you are a chairman in office now, and you want to do something special that will make your people to enjoy you, you are likely going to be removed immediately. Why is that? There is a limited freedom. I always pity them anytime I go around. Limited, they will tell you that, oh, government is not touching our money, our government is doing, but after office, at least we know what happens in Ogun State when the immediate past governor and the chairman of some local chairmen are at war about, oh, you are touching our money when you were there. So the reality is that when people talk of autonomy, and people are against, they don't know what autonomy really means. It's not for the local government alone. It's also for the people. People can look at their chairman and say, look, oh, this man, when he was elected, he was riding the 504. From there, Mercedes-Benz. From there, Jeep. From there, he's building houses. They can start looking. And the chairman too will be feeling uncomfortable, except it's not staying with them. The same thing applies to the councillors. So what I will advise is that while it is desirable that the federal should devote power to the state, the same thing applies, let the state also devote power to the local government, so that we can have participation. And the law they are going to create is not about revenue alone. No, it's about, look, budgeting. All CDAs, all organizations in the local government should be part and parcel of budgeting. Should be part and parcel of how the government is being run. It's not that all loyalty to the governor. Do
you see now that a line has been drawn? I mean, it would seem that there's going to be some battle of sorts, because some people will say the states, it's not like they have a separate territory that is different from the local government. Whatever development the states are carrying out, even in the name of the state governor or of the state, is done in local governments. It's not done anywhere else apart from the local governments. Do you now see that there's going to be a clear distinction that this is state function and this is local government function, and if local governments cannot meet it, if they cannot meet their function, they are strictly on their own?
But already there are distinctions. It's only the governors are confusing everything because they want to control everybody and everything. In the Constitution, it's there. Local governments controls certain things.
Because, I mean, one of the groups of people we haven't taken into cognizance is the Nigerian Union of Teachers. Local government is supposed to be responsible for primary education. I will tell you the affair.
But that fear is unfounded. The affair is that when the local governments are there, in fact, that is part of the justification, quote and unquote, that people are talking of joint account.